Dun, 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 dun. Welcome, ladies and germs, to Potions for Humanity. We are brewing potions for cultural equity in Iowa, using our stories to identify our powers and making art to create transformation within ourselves and the world around us. I want everyone to go and grab some paper and some art supplies. You will need that for our first activity, and maybe even to be able to take some notes and have some inspirations as you move throughout this time together. I'm so excited. I'm Jonny Stax, your potion showman for today. I use he, they pronouns. I'm coming to you from West Branch, Iowa, the land of the Iowa, and throughout different points in history, the Sauk and the Meskwaki. We're so excited to be able to have this time. The opening panel was amazing. To be able to really give us some tangible ideas about how we can create some Jedi transformation toward justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion. In this time, we're going to really go into a very personal space. We have some wonderful potion brewers who have been making potions from their own stories and lives. And the question that we want to explore this whole time is, as we move in our personal Jedi transformation, how can we stay connected as Iowa's creative force so that we can transform our artistic practices, creative communities, and cultural institutions? And now I want to introduce my co-facilitator for the day, Ms. Chinere Echebe.
Hi, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be with you all today here in the wonderful city of Chicago. And I'm loving to see everyone on Zoom, see all of the faces, see all of the beauty, and see all of the grace that is present. We have a wonderful show lined up for you today. And I wanted to just anchor us in our values and just kind of talk a little bit about that. So the value that we're bringing today, or the values that we're leaning into today, are realness. The next one is do no harm to oppressed identities. The next one is to use art to see Jedi work in a new light, to inspire application in participant lives. These are some of the values that we're holding, and I ask that you even source within and just take a moment. What value are you bringing that may not have been mentioned? What are you looking to bring here as well? Just taking a moment. Breathing through it, knowing that it is well, that it is done, knowing that all that you are and all that you bring to the table is just exactly what we've been looking for. You.
Thank you, Chi. So to help us set ourselves in this space, Yvette Herman from Art Force Iowa is going to bring us a mood potion. So this is where you're going to need your art supplies and paper. Yvette is going to be accompanied by Anthony Hendricks, a member of Iowa's creative force from the southeast corner of the state. Take it away, Yvette. You're on mute.
Thanks, everybody, for your patience. Does this read right to you?
Yes.
All right. So entirely personal concoctions is what we're making today. So without a lot of intro, I would like for you to choose 2 colors to work with today. And if it means that you have to choose between 2 different pens, that's fine. Maybe you have markers, maybe you have, I have watercolors, but before you're impressed, let me show them to you. I am so happy to see these faces here. And choose a surface to work on. And maybe have a few other surfaces ready because you might feel so moved that you need to move to another piece of paper. The first color that you're going to choose is going to represent your healing journey, where you are in your healing journey. And that's so personal. I can't give you any suggestions. If this color is a dark color to you, great. If it's a light color to you, great. But it's where you feel like you are in your healing journey. Life is a healing journey. So you could just think about where you are in your life and what color you want to give that. So I'm going to choose a color that represents where I am in my healing journey. And I want you to remember why you chose this color. And I would love to hear all about these things, but we don't get to today. So keep that in mind. This is the color that represents your healing journey. Now choose a color that is the opposite of that. So in your head, it doesn't have to be the opposite of this color. It's the opposite of your healing journey. You can't be wrong. And if you did this tomorrow, it would be completely different. This is just one moment in time, one mood potion that we're creating. So I would like to, without further ado, give you a little magic. Oh, if it's backwards, don't worry. Ta-da! Which one's readable? This one. Got it? So
Nope, not that one.
Not that one. See, backups.
That one.
So all you need to do is choose those colors, know what they mean to you, and we're going to hear some music that's going to help us move our instruments around the paper. Whatever you draw is right. Just draw what you hear, draw what you feel. Just be mindful about what colors you're using. You may decide that your lines look different for different colors. All okay. DJ, are you ready?
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things that I should say. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole round world to hear. I wish I could share all the love in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you see and agree that every man should be free. Oh, I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. Oh, I wish I could do all the things
say wow. So I'd like to take this moment for all of us to don't block yourself, but block the camera with your artwork. Go ahead and be brave and show us. Maybe in Creston, one at a time, show us so we can get a really good look, because I want you to just like do that. Oh yeah. Look at what interesting human beings we are. We all listened to the same thing and had completely different responses. And I don't know what your colors represent, but you know what your colors represent. So this activity is something that, oh, let me see what's happening with OTTE. I didn't get to see it. Yeah, whatever you do is great. I love it. I just love the diversity of responses. So I'll share what was happening with me as I was using my pink color to reflect on the positive parts of my healing journey. It just has taken me everywhere. And then this green color, I realized, wow, I have a touchstone that I revisit here. That's a painful part of my journey. And then there's something else here. And then it shows up in other places, but it sure isn't everywhere to me. So this is exciting for me to look at my healing journey and go, hey, that looks pretty healthy. I recommend doing this potion anytime you need a mood checkup or a check-in. You learn something every time. You play a song that inspires you or a song that makes you feel the way that you need to work on, enhance, understand. And this is our potion for regulating your mood. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real honor.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Yvette. And Art Force Iowa is an amazing resource for folks who are working with youth to be able to really get some fantastic training on healing, trauma-informed, justice-informed work. And so I encourage everyone to get to know Art Force Iowa as I am right now. So this is so exciting to be able to meet today. Unfortunately, as we look at justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion, we could spend the next 12 years talking about it. There's so much to it. When we talk about Jedi transformation, we always, we add the J in front of the EDI, recognizing that we need to place ourselves within justice movements. We need to understand what has come before us, what is now, and how we fit into that arc of history that is bending toward justice. When we think about equity, we need to think about ownership. We need to talk about transparency of ownership and who is owning space, who is owning decision-making power, who is owning authority. And so in looking at equity, we need to have those transparent, difficult conversations. When we talk about diversity, we need to talk about why. Why is diversity so important? What does it look like? And for a state like Iowa, that is so heavily white, oftentimes we say, well, we're so white, there's no way we can be able to have the racial diversity. That washes out all kinds of diversities that exist, as well as Black, Indigenous, and people of color that are in our communities and our circles. And then inclusion, we want to always move so quickly to that place of inclusion, but unless we have truly equitable inclusion, it is just symbolic. It is just in word and not actually in action felt and experienced. And so we need to ask ourselves, how can we set ourselves on a personal and collective journey to take this moment in time where racial justice is front of mind and keep ourselves on that journey, even as the general public may get distracted. As the creative force, we have a powerful influence on transformation toward cultural equity. So this summer, we began a process of making potions for cultural equity in June at Art Week Des Moines. We saw that there were, some folks that really wanted to brew those potions a little bit further. And so we worked with 4 different groups to be able to brew those potions a little bit further, to be able to have some, to share them today. And so I'm really excited to be able to share those potions with you today. And in doing so, to really start putting a face, Iowa's face, to this question of Jedi transformation. The big question that I have is, how do we stay connected as Iowa's creative force on our personal transformation journeys? What does it look like for us to be able to, as we move from the inside out of transforming ourselves and our artistic practices, and then transforming our creative communities, and then transforming our cultural institutions so that we can be able to have the effect that we can have in Iowa toward Jedi transformation? What's that going to look like? We had Art Week Des Moines, we gathered together. At the summit, we're gathering together. How do we keep this connection going? And so I'd love for you, as you have thoughts, if you have ideas, drop them into the chat. If you could also drop into the chat your name, your pronouns, and your location so we know who's here, that would be great. So unfortunately, it's very difficult to be able to have, very robust conversations during this short amount of time and virtually. So if you can use the chat to drop in ideas of ways that we can stay connected, that would be really great. We even had some small group time, but because we had so many potions, we're gonna really, have to stay focused together. But we can use some networking time as well. And then we'd like to be able to regather maybe in the next few weeks to have some deeper conversation about how we can stay connected. So now it is with great pleasure that I present to you from the southwest corner of the state, the Crestonians with the potionous murals around. Please help me welcome Ash, Brendan, Bailey, and Blake.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. We're glad you're here today. I'm just going to take a moment to kind of introduce our potions and get us started. Here in Creston, I am the high school art teacher, and my high school experience was really rough. I had close family members that were very supportive of the arts, but in the school system, I did not feel that support and passion to really explore. I also had high school teachers that were sexist and homophobic and did not create a safe place. I originally never thought I would be a teacher or in a high school, but through that experience, it transformed me, and I really wanted to be able to help create that safe place for the youth here in our community. So together with my husband, Blake, we've been working this summer to connect marginalized youth to community through mural making. We have connected students with community service hours through the court system, along with other wonderful volunteers, and we have created mentorship opportunities, and it's just been amazing. So these two artists are going to share a little bit of their experience. Sierra, if you want to cue our video, Ash is going to start by introducing his mural and figure out kind of the aspects that go along with that, and then Brendan's going to talk about his image as well.
Okay, so you'll see my piece later on. It has an umbrella and flowers are growing out of it with the rain coming in. My piece is really about becoming the best version of yourself possible. Just like the flowers in the umbrella, I really wasn't planted in the most ideal spot. I was abused by my father at a very young age. I have many family members who have or were battling addiction. And I was usually put in the middle of that. I vividly remember going to my aunt's house multiple times since she was high and was not responding to anyone in the family. And I was the only one with small enough hands to unlock the deadbolt. So I got to see that a lot, unfortunately. I had to grow up pretty quickly because I had heard all the family problems from my mom. She's a single parent and I'm the only child. So I really had to mature fast to understand what was going on in the family. And I didn't get much of a childhood. So I was so ashamed of that. I was ashamed of what my father did to me. I was ashamed of my family and their problems. And I was just ashamed of my childhood traumas in general. So I would do anything in my power to hide my past. But just like the flowers in my piece, I grew. I became okay with who I am as a transgender male in a small town. I became okay with my past, even though I don't like it and it's pretty messy, it's mine, and it's the only one I'm gonna get. Just like the flowers in my piece though, I'm not done growing either. So.
Ash's mural is coming up.
Might be able to pause it in just a second.
Possibly. So currently we are on our 15th mural. I think by the end of the summer, we will have 20 to 21 murals that we have created with the youth of Creston, along with other amazing artists.
Can you pause it and just right now?
Right there.
There's Ash's mural. Oh, it's okay. You'll see it again in just a moment. It's the umbrellas with the flowers. So, Ash, we're really grateful that you were able to share your story. There it is.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah.
Okay. Hello. So my mural is about staying true to yourself and not falling into social expectations. I've recently noticed I tend to change my personality to fit into different social groups. I don't majorly change my personality, but it's just not my true self. And that comes from a fear of not being liked. I also listen and try to help my friends with their problems, but don't talk about my own personal problems. I vividly remember that one day my dad was really late to come get me to take me to school. And I was just really wanted to vent to my friends about how mad I was, but I was too scared to talk about it because I hadn't told any of them that my parents were splitting up and that my dad was no longer living with us. I kept to myself because I don't think my problems are big and I don't want to have all my friends worrying about me. But during quarantine, I've had a lot of time to realize that I don't need to hide my problems that I'm dealing with because it could really actually cause stronger bonds, and then I am my true self when around anyone because I have told people more about myself and things I'm dealing with instead of hiding my personal life. And that was part of my inspiration for my mural, but inspiration also came from my family. I was raised on the ideology of always doing what is going to make you happy. I remember when I was a little younger, my great-grandmother would always tell me and my siblings to always go into careers to make a lot of money. But whenever I got home, my mom would always tell us, you shouldn't go into a career for money. It should be about passion and if you will be happy doing that for the rest of your life. So through these different experiences, I created this mural as a reminder to myself and the community to always be true to yourself and listen to your heart so you can always be your happiest self.
And we traced up Brendan's mural last night, and we'll actually start painting on it, I believe, today. And so we will continue to try and share images of the murals that are going to go up for the rest of the summer on into September. And we'll hashtag those with the Potions for Humanity and Iowa Arts Council and such. In just a moment, we will share Brendan's image as well at the end of the video. This last little bit is our art center that is coming together here in Creston. You can see new windows are currently being put in, and so that's really exciting that we will have a place for the youth to continue to really explore the arts outside of just like a high school classroom.
That's
All right, so here is Brendan's image. It says, listen to your heart. It's got the headphones and thank you guys for this opportunity to share our potion of mural making with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm really excited as we continue developing this potion show. We're going to be focusing in Southeast Iowa, where we are, and then Southwest Iowa, where Creston is. So I'm really thrilled to be doing this work with you all, and thank you so much for taking this time to share, and Brendan and Ash for giving so much for yourself in this process. I think this, it really illuminates how important so many different voices are as we look at Jedi transformation. And, racial justice is so front and center. It's such a huge aspect of our reality, as is so many other identities and forms of oppression and privilege. And we need to look at how we can be able to use our privilege to unlock those gates of power to transform those systems of inequity. And where we experience oppression, we need to figure out how we can extract those seeds of shame so that we can be able to bring our whole selves to the table. One of the people who has been really powerful for me as I've been seeking to unlock extract my seeds of shame has been Gwen Zainio out here in West Branch. Really has been a very welcoming force for me as I've moved to Iowa the last 5 years. in really restoring my place with the church where I grew up. And Gwen joined us in the lunchtime potion making session at Art Week Des Moines and wrote a poem. And then I have recently connected with Sharon, Counterfeit Madison, to have some race and queerness conversations through the Englert. And so the two of them paired up together to brew a potion, to brew Gwen's potion a little bit more. So Gwen and Sharon, can you share with us kind of your journey and then the potion that emerged in your time together?
Sure. It was really fun to participate in the Art Week Des Moines workshops. And the day that we focused on justice, the prompts were to think of a time in your life, tell a story that resonates with you regarding justice or injustice, and then to identify the powers in that and create a sensory experience in creating the potion. So I thought of a time with a friend, an old friend that in conversation had a racist comment had come up and had just thrown the whole sense of the conversation. And so my potion is about being complicit or not being complicit. And it's just a brief poem. So I'm just going to share it and then you'll hear what came next. The familiar warmth of conversation with an old friend, comfortable like a favorite shoe, good support, perfect fit, easy companionship built on shared experiences. But then a simple comment, a generalization, disparaging of someone whose skin is a different shade than ours, a shifting, a friction, and loss of that familiar comfort, a need to respond before a blister forms. Silence won't do.
And then I believe Sharon was able to join us. Counterfeit Madison, you there?
Yeah,
Yay.
can you hear me? Hi.
Yes.
So I heard that poem, and the reason why I responded is because sometimes there have been many times, well, I shared a story with Gwen where I was called the N-word in a very not malicious way. It was really weird. I won't go into the details of the story, but I mean, it hurt, but I was just so gutted at the moment, and I didn't know how to respond. And I really identified with the sudden that can happen when you are called a slur, and often how difficult it is to respond in the moment. Just that friction is something I really related to. So I decided to take my experience and Gwen's and make them into a song using mostly her words. Hello. This is a song Gwen and I made together. Comfort with you. Suddenly something's added, a shifting, frictionally quicker, blister form if we lose the silence, it will
love to.
Wow. Wow. That was amazing.
Yeah, I have nothing else to say. But I just sang it. Okay, cool.
Thank you. I love that. Thank you.
That was amazing.
So how do we stay connected as Iowa's creative force? What are some systems that exist for us as we do this personal journey work to be able to stay connected and feed off of each other? And Christine, her at Iowa Art Force talks about this web. And what does that web look like? What are some ways that we can be able to do this? Please drop some ideas into the chat. And we want to reconvene to make some potions. The potion making process is up on the website. That you can do, and we hope, I know Amanda Tate made one just this week, and so we do hope that folks will make some potions, and then we can regather in the next few weeks to look at some of those potions and then be able to talk about, how can we support each other in this Jedi transformation. Chi, do you want to say anything before we set up our last potion?
Yeah, definitely. I just wanted us to, I feel like the two offerings, or all three of the offerings, from Yvette to the Crestonians from Creston, and that beautiful offering from Sharon and Gwen. I feel like we just need to take a quick breath, just breathe for a moment. So breathing in and out, just letting that kind of resonates, those wonderful offerings from the drawing, from your healing, from the art, the umbrella, the flowers that are growing, from the poetry, the harmony, and now to our next offering.
Thank you. So Divine Huff is an artist here in Southeast Iowa who was generous enough to share this potion that she made, and then Andre Perry helped her brew. It is a 3-part monologue. It does include a racial slur that she experienced, just to let folks know as you prepare to experience this next potion. Divine wasn't able to join us today, so we filmed this earlier this week.
Okay, so given I am Black, I am American, I am a cis woman. Now that we got that out the way, I live in Iowa, where there are not many people who are Black that live in town as locals. When the students leave this college town, it gets a lot less diverse. Are you following me? Anywho, one day I'm at work in Iowa, and while ringing a woman up, she has an interesting story to tell me, one that would ignite my freeze in fight, flight, or freeze. For the purpose of this story, I will call the woman Customer from here on. All right, so Customer says to me, she says, when I was growing up, my mother gave me a little brown doll. I replied, that was really sweet of her. Customer then goes on to say, and you know what I called it? Now, this is where I cannot fathom what is going to come out of this woman's mouth. I hadn't said a word when she blurted out, my little nigger baby. I froze. I said, that was a long time ago, and you know not to say that now. Long story short, she starts waxing poetic about all of the people of color in her life and how she has since realized that we're all really not that different. In the end, I told her there's only one race, the human race. We agreed on that. And do you know that feeling when someone wants to hug you? Yeah, she wanted to hug me, like a magnetic pull towards her that I had to physically back away from. I offered, are you a handshaker? We shook hands and I sent her on her way. My stomach drops when I think about her, much like when I see a police car. I wish that incident didn't have that much power. Not very long ago, I was crying every day. I was in mourning over the tragic deaths of Black men and women by the hands of police. Since I can remember, I have always been afraid of the police. Even though when I get pulled over, I'm totally cool. I say, "What happened?" to the officer with a confused look and a friendly gaze. Still, the likelihood that I or my brother or nephew or niece might be killed by the police is exponentially higher just because we are indeed Black people in America. I read somewhere that the purpose of art is to reconnect people with their reality. As a performer, I tend to take roles to serve the story and not the ego. It's important that slices of life are put on stage, especially Black ones. I say this because historically theater has been for and by white audiences. Any theater program that does not shed a light on African American life is failing to paint a fully American picture. It was for those reasons that I had to drop from the board of a local theater. They made a statement about diversity that did not include the word Black, so it was not a Black Lives Matter statement. I had told them that I would walk if they didn't support the BLM movement. They did not, so I quit. End of story. In the last few days, I was busy directing a virtual play reading. The summary of the show is that the main character travels back in time from 2017 to 1946 and back again. She finds her great-grandmother and is able to see how life was for Black people in Jim Crow South. In the end, it was proven that there has not been a lot that has changed between the two times. There are some new givens, like I can openly talk to, date, or even marry a white partner, whether that be male or female. Also, the opportunities for education are much higher for Black people in the 2000s. Though, you know what has stayed the same? Discrimination, bigotry, police brutality, racism, white supremacy, and white privilege. Now, given everyone has some privilege. If you are alive, you are blessed. If you can walk, talk, see, taste, feel, think, and smile, you are blessed because everyone doesn't have those privileges. But even with all the privilege in the world, between every human, there are still people that do not see me as a full-on human with feelings and who needs equal rights just like everyone else. That's the purpose of supporting Black lives. Acknowledging that not only is the playing field unequal, it's slanted away from me in so many ways that I both see and don't see, hear and don't hear, witness and don't witness for myself. But next time a closed person comes to me and tries to put me in a corner, I will use my words to correct them and my feet to walk away. It is true, I've been known to freeze in the past, but now I know it's possible to be in that kind of uncomfortable situation. So I have little scripts that I use to get out of those situations with my dignity intact. Dear white people, if you want to know more about Black hair, Black excellence, Black history, use your computer and the library to do some research on your own. It's not my job or any other Black person's job to bring you up to speed. We have a shared history and choices to make about truth or to stay blind. Wake up.
Wow, 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 and wow. That was huge. That was very powerful and impactful. And I just want to pause for a moment to really let and allow those words to marinate, to allow the invitation that the divine has offered us to step into. So as we step into the offering of the divine, I'm wondering, what are you willing to commit to? You know, oftentimes, I don't know if you all have heard of that book, The Four Agreements, or, you know, the things that we agree to. Oftentimes when we look at our agreements or our commitments, we tend to, I don't know about you all, but I know for myself, I'll step into a commitment that is more, that's larger than what I can commit to. And so then when I attempt to do it, it's like, oh, I'm stretched too thin. I can't, you know, I'm not able to fulfill the commitment. And so, you know, I heard one of my spiritual teachers say that you treat your agreements and your commitments, or the things that you would like to program yourself with, like standing at a free throw line, right? So you want to be back enough to where once you hit the shot, it feels good in your body, but also not so far back that you're not gonna make that shot at all. So when thinking about a commitment and the commitment that you are looking to offer, I want you to think on a commitment now that you will make toward Jedi transformation. So just think on that commitment, and then I want you to open your email, yes, right now. Get your devices, your phones, open your emails right now. Go ahead and I'll give you all a moment to get that going. So open an email up. And Sierra, Johnny, oh great, you put it right here in the chat. Awesome. Yeah, I want you to put in that 2-line to jstax@johnnystax.com. Once you put that email, I want you to put in the subject, my commitment, and then in the body of the email, put what you're committing to toward the Jedi transformation. We will check it in the next week to see what support you need. We will check in the next week to stand with you, agree with you, commit with you. And remember, you're just shooting a shot, right? You're just taking your basketball, you're standing at your free throw line so that you can make that basket. And we want to support you in your commitment toward Jedi transformation. All right, so press send on those emails. I can't wait to see all that comes through. Again, the email is in your chat box. We would like for you to send that commitment before we close today. So, yay you.
Yay. Yay you. And as Nick suggested, sometime in the next few weeks, let's do a meetup over Zoom. And let's share our potions, and let's share, our progress and how we can stay connected as Iowa's creative force. So we do hope, again, on the website, you can see the potion making process. It is our time to leave. But we thought that we could end with a little sing along of Lean on Me, because that's what this work takes. It takes us being vulnerable and asking for help and offering each other help. So as you need to leave, please leave. Sierra, if you would drop the lyrics into the chat that are on the run of show. And then folks, you'll have to mute, unfortunately, but she is gonna lead us in a little sing along of Lean on Me, and please leave if you want to. And we really look forward to staying connected in our time as we continue this Jedi transformation in Iowa.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow, but if we are wise, We know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean, till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on.
We'll see you out the rest of it. Thank you, Chi. We'll see you out the rest of the summit.